Delivered, not seen, you put the phone down. You pick it up again. You're not entirely sure when you decided to do that. Last online 20 minutes ago. So they've been on the phone, just not with you. You didn't plan to notice that. The noticing happened on its own. And here's the part almost no one says out loud. The checking doesn't even feel like a choice. It feels like something your hand does while your mind is somewhere else. And afterwards, you don't feel better. You feel a little worse and a little embarrassed and somehow ready to check again. If any of that sounds familiar, you're not broken. You're not too much. Your nervous system may be doing exactly what it learned to do long before this relationship began. I'm Dr. Narelle Duncan, a clinical psychologist drawing on 30 years of helping people understand themselves. This is Steady and Connected. Each episode, I'll bring you the science, the tools, and the clarity to understand what may be happening when anxiety shows up in love and what you might do with that understanding. Let's get steady and connected. Today, we're looking at checking, the quiet, half-invisible watching that can grow up around a relationship. The last online, the read receipt, the reread of a message that hasn't changed since the last time you read it. It's one of the least talked about parts of anxiety and love, partly because it carries a layer of embarrassment that the louder patterns don't. So we'll take it gently. What checking actually is, why it keeps its own count, and the difference between missing someone and monitoring the phone. Let's name it plainly. Checking is when a nervous system, unsure about a connection, goes looking for evidence about it. When were they last online? Has the message been seen? Has their tone in the chat shifted since yesterday? Sometimes it widens. Their socials, their likes, the little public traces a person leaves. I want to be careful here because checking is a word that can arrive with a shame already attached. Let me say clearly what this episode is not. It's not an accusation and it's not a diagnosis. Checking, at its root, is one of the most understandable things a nervous system can do. If part of you believes the connection might be at risk, then gathering information about the connection is a completely logical move. That's not a character flaw. That's a system trying to answer a question it cares about deeply. Are we okay? Notice something important. That's the same question underneath reassurance-seeking, which we explored a few episodes back. The difference is the direction of the reach. Reassurance-seeking reaches toward the person. Are we okay? Tell me we're okay. Checking reaches around them. I'll find out for myself quietly without having to ask. Often, the checking begins precisely because asking feels like too much. You don't want to be the person who needs reassurance again, so the question goes underground and comes out through the thumb on a screen where no one can see it. So, checking isn't distrust and it isn't obsession. It's a question that couldn't find a voice, looking for an answer in the data. So, how might checking show up? I'll offer some of its forms. Notice what lands and notice what doesn't. The last online. Opening the app, not to send anything, just to see when they were there. And feeling the small drop when the answer is recently and not with you. The read receipt. Seen at 9:47, it's 11:20 now, Your chest has been keeping count in a way your mind pretends it hasn't. The reread. Going back over the last exchange, studying the words for a change in temperature, a shorter reply, a missing X at the end, punctuation doing more work than punctuation should. The drafted and deleted. Typing the casual little message that would make them reply and deleting it because you don't want the reply to be the only reason you feel okay. The widening circle. When the phone runs out of evidence, moving outward, their activity, their photos, the places a person leaves footprints, each stop promising an answer, none of them delivering one. And maybe the most telling form of all, the check you do already knowing it won't help. You've noticed the pattern yourself, you check anyway. That gap between knowing and doing isn't weakness. It's the clearest sign that this is a nervous system loop, not a decision. If several of those feel familiar, that's information, not a verdict. If they don't, that's information too. Here's the mechanism, and once you see it, the loop makes a different kind of sense. Checking is a behavior that gets rewarded at exactly the wrong moment. Think about what happens when you check and the news is good. They were last online hours ago, or the reply arrives while you're looking. The worry drops, relief, and your system quietly files the lesson. Checking made the bad feeling go away. Now here's the catch. The relief came from the good news, not from the checking. Your system can't tell the difference. It credits the behavior. So next time uncertainty rises, the system doesn't reach for patience, it reaches for the thing that got credited last time. The thumb moves before the decision does. And when the news is bad, or worse, when there's no news at all, the uncertainty stays open. And an open loop is exactly what a watchful system can't put down. One more check might close it. It rarely does. What it reliably delivers is a reason to check again. So the loop feeds itself from both ends. Good news teaches your system that checking works. No news keeps the question open, so the checking continues. Either way, the checking gets stronger and the underlying worry doesn't get smaller. The watching was never the problem. It's the answer the system settled on for a question that deserves a better one. If you'd like to see how active this watchfulness is for you and which attachment pattern it may be part of, the free quiz at steadyandconnected.com.au is a good place to start. It's for self-reflection, not a clinical assessment, and your results come to your inbox with a short series that goes deeper on what they mean for you. Here's where it can sting. From the outside, if a partner ever glimpses it, checking can look like surveillance, like distrust, like something a suspicious person does. And because you half believe that reading yourself, the whole pattern goes underground, carrying a layer of shame that the more visible patterns don't have to carry. From the inside, it's something else entirely. You're not gathering evidence against them. You're looking for evidence for the relationship, hunting honestly for permission to relax. Every check is hoping to find good news. That's not suspicion. That's a person who wants very much for things to be okay. And the shame does something specific here. It makes the checking secret. And secret loops are the hardest ones to loosen. You can't bring it into the light of an ordinary conversation, so it stays in the dark where it grows. So let's do the correcting now. Plainly, the checking isn't who you are, it's a strategy your system landed on, a watchful system doing watchful things. And there's a real difference between missing someone and monitoring the phone. Missing someone is a feeling moving toward a person. Monitoring is a system trying to manage a feeling. Knowing which one is happening in the moment it's happening, that's the beginning of change. Let's go back to that evening. Delivered, not seen, the phone down, the phone up again, last online 20 minutes ago. Walk it through gently. The rise, a small uncertainty about the connection, arriving without an appointment. The question that can't find a voice, are we okay? Too heavy to send, too alive to drop. The reach around, the thumb doing the asking quietly where no one can see. The result, a moment's relief or a longer unease, and either way, the loop a little stronger than it was an hour ago. Now you can see it for what it might be, not proof that you're suspicious, distrustful, or too much. Rather, a watchful system doing the only kind of asking that felt safe and keeping account that no one asked it to keep. That's not a flaw in your character, that's a pattern with a mechanism doing exactly what it learned long before this relationship and long before this phone. Here's the part that opens a door. The checking was never really about the phone. The phone is just where the question went when it couldn't be asked out loud. Underneath the last online and the read receipt, the system is asking something quieter. Can I bear not knowing right now? And for a watchful nervous system, the honest answer has often been no. Not because you're weak, because uncertainty about connection is genuinely one of the harder things a human system is asked to hold. Here's what shifts things: the capacity to sit with not knowing, even briefly, can grow, not by force and not by deleting apps or white-knuckling the urge. Restriction tends to make a watchful system watch harder. It grows the way any capacity grows, a little at a time, in moments that are slightly uncomfortable and entirely survivable. The goal isn't to never check, it's for the checking to become a choice you're present for, rather than something your hand does while your mind is somewhere else. So here's the one thing for this episode. Just one. The next time you notice the pull to check, the reach for the phone that doesn't quite feel like a decision, see if you can put one breath between the urge and the action. Not to stop the check. You're allowed to check. Just one slow breath first. And inside that breath, one quiet question. What am I hoping to see? Sometimes the answer will soften something on its own because what you're hoping for usually isn't information, it's relief. And once you can name that, you have a choice you didn't have a second earlier. You can still check, and you can also offer your body one small cue of steadiness first. Feet on the floor, a longer breath out than in, nothing fancy, a gentle experiment with no right result. If you'd like a quiet companion for this, I've made you a one-page guide called Before the Next Check. 3 gentle prompts for the moment the pull arrives. It's at go.steadyandconnected.com.au/check. Free and yours to keep. Next time, we go one layer deeper to the radar itself. Why a shift in their tone can change your whole day. why the person you love most seems to get the most watchful version of your nervous system. There's a name for that, constant background reading, and understanding it changes how the whole pattern feels. If you've taken the free quiz at steadyandconnected.com.au, your results already point toward how tuned your radar may be. If you haven't, that's a good place to start. That's everything for this episode. If today resonated, follow Steady and Connected wherever you listen so the next episode lands automatically. And if someone came to mind while you were listening, share it with them. If you'd like to know which attachment pattern is most active for you, take the free 5-minute quiz at steadyandconnected.com.au. Your results come straight to your inbox, along with a short email series that goes deeper on what they mean for you. If today's conversation has brought up anything you need support with, please reach out. Lifeline is available 24/7 on 13 11 14. And if you're ready to explore this work more personally, I offer individual telehealth sessions at getlifedirection.com. I'm Dr. Narelle Duncan, clinical psychologist. Take good care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next episode.